This is Luke Skywalker. This figure released in 5 sets from 2015 through 2021. Overall, this is a pretty good figure with some nice printing on his torso, but sadly no leg printing. And one issue with this figure is that you can see a bit of his second face from the back. And this is his second face. This figure is worth about $8 new and $4 used. This is Hoth Han Solo. This figure released in 2016 exclusive to the Hoth Attack. Overall, this is a pretty good figure with some very nice printing on his torso and legs, but I do wish that his legs were dual molded. And the figure does come with a very nice hood piece, and this is his second face. This figure is worth about $16 new and $7 used. This is Darth Maul. This figure released in 2 sets from 2021 through 2022. That being the Darth Maul foil pack and the Duel on Mandalore. Overall, this is a great figure with excellent printing on his torso and excellent robotic legs. And the figure does have his very nice horn piece. This figure is worth about $8 new and $6 used. This is Luke Skywalker. This figure released in 3 sets from 2006 through 2007. Overall, this is a very simple figure with the basic print on the torso and a pretty plain face print. But he does have some nice printing on his helmet. This figure is worth about $13 new and $5 used. This is Captain Rex. This figure released in 2 sets from 2023 through 2024. Overall, this is a pretty good figure with some very nice printing on his torso and legs, and even some arm printing. But sadly, he does not have a physical waist cape, and his ammo pouch is oversized. And the pauldron is pretty inaccurate. But he does have a pretty nice face print. This figure is worth about $24 new and $20 used. This is R2-D2. This figure released in 5 sets from 2022 through 2024. Overall, this is a very good figure with very nice printing on his torso and dome. But sometimes the printing on his dome can be pretty slanted. And luckily, Astromech Droids have been getting back printing. This figure is worth about $6 new and used. This is Commander Cody. This figure released in 2022 exclusive to the ATTE. Overall, this is a great figure with very detailed and accurate printing on his torso, which does even include his rank and even his gray belly, which LEGO just so happened to forget on the Captain Vaughn. And the figure does have very nice printing on his legs and even his jetpack. But I do wish that it was a piece instead of a print. And the figure does actually have a unique face. But I do wish that he came with his Palpatine hologram. And this was actually our first Phase 2 Cody. This figure is worth about $30 new and $24 used. This is the First Order Stormtrooper. This figure released in 8 sets from 2015 through 2017. Overall, this is a pretty good figure with a decent printing on his torso and legs, and some good printing on his helmet. And something interesting is that for First Order Stormtroopers from 2017 through 2020, they all had a thinner mouthpiece, and the other ones appeared in 12 sets. And something interesting with this character is that he has white hands, and in LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, the character actually has black hands. And the figure does just have the regular Angry Clone head. This figure is currently worth $7 new and $3 used. This is Young Boba Fett. This figure released in 2013, exclusive to that year's advent calendar. Overall, this is a great figure with excellent printing on his torso, which just has some wrinkles for a shirt and a brown belt. And the figure does have some dark blue arms, and he uses the short legs. And this is his second face. And a much better version of this figure appeared in the 2017 Hyperdrive ring. But that figure is pretty expensive. And I do wish that this figure had a more accurate skin tone, similar to the ones that the Clone Troopers use. This figure is currently worth $16 new and $7 used. This is Malakili, aka the Rancor Keeper. This figure released in 2013, exclusive to the Rancor Pit. Overall, this is a great figure with very nice printing on his torso, which has a rope tied around his waist and even some chest hair. But I do wish the figure had some leg printing. And the figure does have a hood piece, even though he's not wearing a cloak. And probably the best part about this figure is his second face, which shows him after the Rancor was killed. This figure is worth about $21 new and $14 used. This is Darth Malak. This figure released in 2024 as a 25th anniversary figure, exclusive to the buildable R2-D2. Overall, this is a great figure with very detailed printing on his torso, and even some printing for his waist cape, which I do wish was a physical piece. But I do wish that the figure's torso and legs were in dark red, because I think that would have been a more accurate color. But the figure does include a very nice jaw piece, which is a brand new mold for the character. And if you take the piece off, there is some very nice detail for the character's broken jaw. And the figure does have a decent back print. This figure is currently worth $48 new and $44 used. This is Vice Admiral Sloan. This figure released in 2022, exclusive to the TIE Bomber. Overall, this is a pretty nice figure with some pretty simple printing on her torso, but she does have the correct rank, which LEGO has messed up on some figures before. And I do wish that the figure came with dual molded legs. And surprisingly, the character doesn't have a second face. This figure is currently worth $10 new and $8 used. This is Ahsoka Tano. This figure released in 2023, exclusive to Ahsoka's T6 Jedi Shuttle. Overall, this is a great figure with excellent printing on her torso and legs, which shows her robes and her little belt. And the character does even have some feet printing. And the character does have excellent arm printing, but I do wish that her arms were dual molded. And the character's torso, legs, and hands are all done in gunmetal gray. And the figure does have a brand new Lego piece, which is a more accurate size. And this is her second face. But I do wish that her lightsaber was a more accurate color. Probably something like this. This figure is currently worth $14 new and used. This is the Beth Mujison. This figure released in 2 sets from 2014 through 2020. That being the Mos Eisley Cantina and the Master Builder Series Mos Eisley Cantina. Overall, this is a great figure with a pretty simple print on the torso for just a shirt and a pretty nice molded head. But I do wish that the figure had some leg printing. And there is some pretty simple printing on the head, and the character does come with 3 different types of instruments, because you get 3 members in each set. This figure is currently worth $11 new and $9 used. This is the 212 Chipper. This figure released in 3 sets from 2022 through 2023. Overall, this is a great figure with very detailed and accurate printing on his torso and legs, which is the mix between the realistic and animated style. And his armor does have some scuffs to show some battle damage. But I am personally not a fan of his helmet because of the helmet holes, which don't look good on this figure, and the printing on top of his helmet is pretty inaccurate. And as expected, he just has the regular clone head. This figure is currently worth $10 new and $9 used. This is General Dodonna. This figure released in 2 sets from 2021 to 2023, that being Luke Skywalker's X-Wing and the Yavin 4 Rebel base. Overall, this is a great figure with very nice printing on his torso for his jacket, which just has some pockets, and what I assume is a rank. And the figure does have this very nice hairpiece, which reminds me of the Doc Brown minifigure. And he does also have a pretty nice face print with a very nice beard and some thick eyebrows. And this is his second face. This figure is currently worth $7 new and $5 used. This is Qui-Gon Jinn. This figure released in 2024, exclusive to Darth Maul Sith Infiltrator. Overall, this is a great figure with a very nice cloth poncho piece, which was a surprise to get, which has some Jedi robes printed underneath. But the tan printing on his legs is very faded. And this is his back print. And the character does have a very nice face print with his beard, which even has some gray hairs on it, and his mustache. And this is his second face. This figure is currently worth $12 new, and there isn't any being sold used on Bricklink. This is Bossk. This figure released in 2017, exclusive to the Bounty Hunter Spears Battle Pack. Overall, this is a great figure with a very nice bright yellow jumpsuit, which does remind me of X-Wing pilots. And he does have some pretty good printing on his legs and even some feet printing, which isn't too common. And the character does have a very nice molded head, which is done in olive green, and the head even has some printing. So far, this was our second and last iteration of Bossk. This figure is currently worth $25 new and $16 used. This is the Imperial Commando. This figure released in 2024, exclusive to the Ambush on Mandalore Battle Pack. Overall, this is a great figure with some pretty nice printing on his torso, which just has 2 red lines, some lights, and even a sand blue abdomen. And the character does have very nice leg printing, and even some printing on his hip. And he does have a very nice jetpack piece, which has a pretty nice printed tile. And the character does have an awesome brand new helmet, which is dual molded. And I'm surprised LEGO just didn't reuse the regular Mandalorian helmet, but I'm glad they didn't. This figure is currently worth $4 new and used. This is Poggle the Lesser. This figure released in 2013, exclusive to the Duel on Geonosis. Overall, this is a great figure with very detailed printing on his torso and legs, and a unique molded head, which is made of the more rubbery material. But it is a very weak connection. And the character does have these very nice wings, which is made of the more plastic material. But it is pretty difficult to get them to fold down properly. And I'm pretty sure that if this character was made today, that LEGO would use the mid-sized legs. This character is currently worth $51 new and $34 used. This is Kelleran Beq. This figure released in 2024, exclusive to the Bark Speeder Escape. Overall, this is an amazing figure with great printing on his torso and legs for his Jedi robes. And the character does have a very nice face print, which is very accurate. And he does also have the very nice spongy cape and 2 different colored lightsabers, which we don't get too often. And this is his back print. This figure is currently worth $9 new and used. This is the Imperial Gonk Droid. This figure released in 2023, exclusive to the TIE Bomber. Overall, this is a great figure with a very nice Imperial print on the side and some Arbesh printing on the back, which translates to cargo. And there is another Imperial logo on the side. And this piece is actually a storage crate. This figure is currently worth $4 new and $3 used. This is a Stormtrooper. This figure released in 2016, exclusive to the TIE Striker. Overall, this is a great figure with some very nice sand blue printing on his torso and even one sand blue arm. But his legs and helmet are not exclusive. They did appear on the other 2 Stormtroopers. And under his helmet, he just has a regular angry clone head. And this figure is meant to be a Stormtrooper captain. This figure is currently worth $46 new and $31 used. This is Pilot Luke Skywalker. This figure released in 3 sets from 2021 through 2024. Overall, this is a great figure with very nice printing on his torso and legs, and even the 2 printing on his torso extends down to his waist. And he does have some very nice printing on his helmet, and a pretty nice second face. And there is a far better Pilot Luke Skywalker with arm printing and dual molded legs that appeared in the UCS X-Wing. This figure is currently worth about $6 new and $4 used. This is the Rancor ARC Trooper, aka Hammer. This figure released in 2012, exclusive to the Elite Clone Troopers and Commandos Battle Pack. Overall, this is an amazing figure with great printing on his torso and legs, and a great cloth pauldron, and even a physical camo, which we sadly don't get anymore. And the character does have a very nice buildable backpack, and a great helmet, which I do wish that LEGO reused this mold for the 5s. And he does also have a dark red rangefinder, which is exclusive, and a regular clone head. And this character did actually appear in a Clone Wars episode. This figure is currently worth $64 new and $36 used.